Have you ever just stopped and really thought about how a word, just a sound you make or some letters on a screen, can possibly connect to a real physical thing out there in the world? It's one of those puzzles that's so big and so basic that we usually don't even notice it, but it's actually the key to how we make sense of, well, everything.
I mean, really think about it. How does the word tree bridge that massive gap to the actual living thing outside with bark and leaves and roots? It sounds simple, right? But this is one of the deepest, most persistent problems in all of philosophy, and the search for an answer drove one of the 20th century's most brilliant and controversial minds to look for answers not in the future, but deep in the past.
So, let's meet our protagonist. He's a young, incredibly sharp German philosopher named Martin Heidegger, and the year is 1915. He's working on his big postdoctoral thesis, and he is wrestling with this very modern problem. How do our thoughts, our consciousness, actually reliably connect to the world out there? Now, to solve this very modern problem of meaning, you'd think he'd look to the new sciences of his day, right? Psychology, maybe physics, but no. Heidegger does something completely radical. He makes a hard turn backward in time, convinced that the answer he's looking for is buried in a dense 700-year-old text on grammar and logic by a medieval philosopher named Duns Scotus.
And that, right there, is the central mystery we're diving into. Why on earth would a cutting-edge 20th century thinker believe that the key to understanding language and reality was hidden away in the complex, seemingly ancient world of medieval scholasticism? What did he think they knew that we had forgotten?
Well, the first clue Heidegger dug up from these medieval thinkers was a really foundational belief. Reality is not just a chaotic mess. They were absolutely convinced that the world has an underlying intelligible structure. Think of it like a blueprint. And crucially, they believe that our minds are built to read that very blueprint. It all starts with the most basic building block imaginable, a concept they called ensis. All this means is the quality of somethingness. So before you know what a thing is, a tree, a rock, a cup, your mind first has to grasp that it is, that it's a something. This idea is the absolute ground floor. It's the condition that makes knowing anything else possible at all. And right on the heels of that, every ens, every something, is also an unum, which just means a one. See, to be a thing is to be a single, distinct entity. That simple, almost unconscious act of identifying one thing as separate from everything else, that's how our minds start to get a grip on the world, carving a little bit of order out of the chaos. Okay, so we've established that reality seems to have a basic, graspable structure. The next piece of the puzzle that Heidegger found is this absolutely vital distinction, and it's one that explains how our minds can even connect with that structure in the first place. This is the core of the whole thing. Get this. On the one hand, you have the psychic act. That's the fleeting biological event of you, right now, thinking 2 + 2 = 4. It happens in your brain's neurons, and then, poof, it's gone. It's like a one-time live performance of a song. But on the other hand, there's the logical sense, the timeless, objective truth that 2 + 2 does equal 4. That meaning is true and valid whether anyone is thinking about it or not. It's like the musical score itself, permanent, objective, and waiting to be read. And this second realm, this place of timeless, logical sense, the medieval text had a name for it, verum, or the true. Now, this isn't a physical place you can visit. Its reality isn't existence like a rock or a tree. Its reality is validity. It's a realm of pure, logical relationships that our minds can access, but it doesn't depend on our minds for its being. It just is. All right, let's pull these threads together. We have a structured reality, we have a timeless realm of logical truth, and we have our minds, which can access that truth. It's finally time to bring in the last, crucial piece of the puzzle, language itself. And here it is. This is the big aha moment. According to these medieval grammarians, the structure of our language isn't just some random, arbitrary thing. It's a mirror of reality's deep structure. The world has different modes of being. For instance, there are stable things that have a kind of permanence, and then there are processes that are all about change and flow. So what did our language do? It evolved corresponding modes of signifying to match. We use nouns to talk about the stable things, and we use verbs to talk about the processes. It's a direct reflection. So now you can see the whole chain of meaning. It goes like this. Step 1. Reality has a fundamental structure. Step 2. Our minds are able to grasp that structure as a timeless, logical truth. And step 3.
Our language, our very grammar, is shaped to reflect that logical structure. That is how the word tree finally connects to the real tree. It's not magic, it's a chain of mirroring that runs all the way from the world itself through logic and right into the words we speak every day.
Okay, so I know what you might be thinking. This is pretty deep and fascinating in a historical way, but why does a 700-year-old theory about grammar actually matter? What's the real takeaway for us here and now?
Well, for the young Heidegger, this was way more than just an academic exercise. He was searching for what he called a living philosophy, one that wasn't just abstract and stuck in books. And his journey shows us something really important. To solve our most modern problems, sometimes we can't just look forward. We have to be willing to look back, to connect the cold, hard structure of logic with the grand sweep of history, and ultimately with our own deep, personal search for meaning.
Heidegger actually ended his whole thesis with this really poetic line from a writer named Novalis, and it just perfectly captures the spirit of this whole quest. We're all out here looking for these big, timeless, absolute truths, but we can only ever find them right here in the everyday things around us and in the structure of the language we use to talk about them.
So Heidegger found a key to a very modern problem hidden inside a medieval grammar book. And that really leaves us with a provocative question, doesn't it? What other forgotten ideas, what other grammars of thought from our own history are just sitting there, waiting to be rediscovered, holding the keys to help us make sense of our own complicated world?